Hi guys, Raccoon here with a guide on how to defeat the Raiden Shogun Weekly Boss. I'll be going over team comp, her attacks, and how to dodge and play around them. So let's start with the team composition. For this fight, I would suggest at least having one Cryo and one Electro character in your team. Cryo to break shields faster and Electro to deal with certain attacks from the Raiden Shogun. For my main DPS, I'll be bringing the Geo Traveler because I think they're as free to play as you can get. But of course, any of your strongest DPS will work just fine. For my sub DPS, I'm bringing Fischl because Oz is a god and she's also Electro. For the third slot, I simply chose Bennett because he's Bennett, but you can bring any other extra Electro or Cryo character if you want. This is honestly just a free slot. And last but not least, I'm bringing Diona as my shielder/healer. And she's Cryo too, so that's a plus. If you don't have these characters or you don't build them, it's completely fine. I would just heavily suggest having at least one Cryo and one Electro character. Now let's move on to the Raiden Shogun's basic attacks. So as soon as you initiate the fight or get too close, Raiden will immediately dash or teleport towards you and deal electro damage. The range is surprisingly large, so be sure to dodge in time or retreat to a safe distance. She has quite a few normal blade attacks consisting of mainly electro slashes. So now let's talk about her long-distance attacks, one of them being Raiden hurling a fast-traveling electro blade at you, and in some instances, she might hurl 4 electro blades instead of 1. These 4 blades also have a bigger radius than a single electro blade, however, they are slower. Simply dash to the side to avoid this attack. Moving on to her more special attacks. She has quite a few skills to take note of, but none of these come in any particular order, so just keep that in mind, I guess. Let's first talk about her Electro clones. Raiden will teleport to the center of the arena before splitting up into several Electro clones. You'll have to pay attention to the Electro blades she hurls at you. If it has a single strike pattern, then it's a clone. However, if it has an X pattern, like the one you see here, then that's the real Raiden. Once you hit the real clone, she'll be stunned for a while, allowing you to deal damage. Next is the Lightning Strike. This is easy enough to avoid. When you see a purple circle form on the ground, simply dodge to avoid the Lightning Strike. Raiden also has another Lightning Strike, but in a larger AoE. She'll start spinning her pole arm before unleashing the attack, so once you see this happening, get ready to dodge. Now let's move on to her more dangerous skills. Raiden will summon a Magatsu Electroculi. It will appear as an orb with an HP meter next to it, and you have to destroy it as fast as you can to avoid heavy damage. There are times where she would summon 3 Magatsu Electroculi, and when this happens, you only have to destroy one of them. Last but not least, the Musou no Hitotachi. Raiden Shogun raises her sword into the air as electro orbs start falling from the sky. When this happens, try to get as far away from her as possible while dodging the orbs, because shortly after this, the Raiden Shogun will deal massive AoE damage that will 99% of the time kill you. Now we're finally moving on to the second phase of the battle, Raiden's Baleful Shadow Lord form. But that's a bit too long, so I'll just call it her God mode. There's almost no way for you to avoid this part of the battle unless you have some C6 meta characters in your team that can kill her in one shot while she's still in her first form. But if that were the case, you wouldn't be watching this video. Now let's move on to her attacks. Once again, none of these attacks come in any particular order, so just be on alert. First, we have your usual blade attacks. They're quite similar to the basic attacks in her normal form, but there is an attack where she'll do 2 slashes before shooting an electro spear to the ground. The spear explodes after a short while, so don't stay near it. The best way to dodge these attacks are to try and run behind her or just get out of the way. The next attack we have is her Hand Crush. There will be a very tiny flash that appears on the palms right before it's about to clap your ass. Keep in mind that Raiden can also perform her normal attacks while this happens, so you'll also need to keep an eye out for her. Next is her Electro Vortex. Raiden summons an Electro Vortex that follows you and explodes after a while. Once again, Raiden can still perform her normal attacks while this vortex is following you, so be on alert. Next is her Downward Slash. Raiden raises her sword and smashes it onto the ground. There is a very clear line that indicates where the sword will land. Now for what I think is the most beautiful attack, the final Calamity. Raiden will disappear and a single flower of remembrance will appear on the battlefield. You must destroy the flower, and once it's destroyed, it creates a shield that protects your character from being literally Thanos snapped, and by that I mean this is a one-hit knockout. This is where you want to whip out your Electro characters because using Electro destroys the flower immediately. Using other elements is also okay, however, if you do use other elements, keep in mind that it will take a couple of hits until it's destroyed, making Electro the safest choice. Finally, we have the 3 Electro Spears. Raiden summons 3 spears around her that pulsate Electro rings that travel across the whole map. It's really difficult to attack Raiden during this phase because the Electro rings hurt a lot. Usually, the 3 Electro Spears will be the last you see of Raiden in her God mode. She'll return back to her normal form, stunned, and your entire party will regain their energy, giving you a lot of time to deal damage. If you don't manage to defeat her during her downtime, the fight will just repeat, but her health should be low enough for you to just deal a couple of more blows before she goes down. So, before I end this video, I'll play a clip of how I defeated her with my free-to-play team, I guess. I would highly suggest everyone to just eat food, whether it be crit, attack, crit damage, defense food, stamina food, just eat it. And I hope you guys found this video useful, and I hope I covered most of your skills. I'm not sure if I missed any, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching, and I hope you get all the 5 stars you want.